The air was rich with the fragrance of jasmine as I strolled through the garden, my fingers gliding over the petals, each contact a brief escape into tranquility. I'm Danielle, and at 34, I've crafted a life that sparks admiration in others. A journalist by trade, my days are filled with weaving narratives revealing truths that others would rather keep hidden. Yet this evening, as I find myself in this moment, the burden of my pen seems more substantial than ever. The blank page in front of me, a stage for the truths I've kept hidden for so long. Jonathan. My husband is a software engineer, navigating the intricate pathways of codes and algorithms, while his heart remains as gentle as the breeze that whispers through our suburban home. We've crafted a journey together, a rich narrative filled with moments of shared aspirations, joy, and the occasional debate over trivial matters like who forgot to turn off the coffee maker. Yet hidden beneath this flawless exterior, a tempest was gathering, poised to test the core of our union. Murphy, our golden retriever, rests at my feet, embodying unwavering loyalty in a world that constantly changes. His eyes observe me with an understanding look, as if he feels the chaos brewing inside. In his presence, I discover the strength to explore the past, to untangle the experiences that have brought me to this moment of revelation. It all began with a task, an exploration into the hidden world of the city's upper crust. The words of my editor resonated within me. Danielle, this could be your moment of triumph. Reveal the hidden tales, regardless of the journey they take you on. Unbeknownst to me, the adventure would lead me far from the safety of our abode and to realms where the shadows murmured secrets too deep for the brightness of day. The inquiry led me to explore places that were quite distant from my typical surroundings. In shadowy taverns, the atmosphere thick with haze and hushed exchanges, the sound of glasses clinking served as an introduction to secrets shared. I transformed into different characters, embracing identities that helped me merge into these realms, becoming unnoticed, yet fully aware. Every evening, as I made my way back, the difference between my two existences became more pronounced. Jonathan, with his warm smiles and tender questions about my day, seemed completely oblivious to the shadows I was wading through. I would bid him good night, the flavor of betrayal still fresh on my lips, and withdraw to my study, where the quietness served as a poignant reminder of the truths I was concealing. As I explored further, I came to understand that the corruption was not merely an external force lurking within the city's shadows, but it was infiltrating my own existence, weaving itself into the very essence of our union. I found myself transforming into a figure I hardly knew, compelled by an urge to unveil the reality regardless of the consequences. And then there was that night, the moment that transformed everything. At a grand gala, the elite showcased their wealth, their polished facades only hinting at the hidden truths beneath. In that moment, surrounded by the delicate sounds of crystal and the whispers of insincere friendship, I witnessed something that made my heart race with excitement. Not just a fragment of proof or a hushed revelation, but an image of my essence in a looking glass warped by the grandeur enveloping me. I beheld not the journalist, the pursuer of truth, but a woman ensnared in her own tale, her ethics obscured by the temptation of the narrative. That moment unfolded like a tale revealing not the elite, but my own journey. What I uncovered about myself during this journey was more surprising than any narrative I could create. Now, as I sit here, the pen hovering above the paper, I understand that this revelation goes beyond the mere details of the investigation. It's a reflection on the path I've traveled, the individual I've evolved into, and the decisions that have brought me to this pivotal moment. The truths I've discovered are woven into the fabric of our experiences. It resides deep within, and at times confronting, it can be the most challenging journey. The task was straightforward, yet it held layers of intricacy. Delve into the elite gatherings of the city's affluent to unveil their hidden tales. My editor sensed that a tale of deceit or a hidden scandal, was just waiting to be discovered. To fit in, I needed to embrace a character, one that sparkled with glamour and audacity, far beyond the journalist I once was, Danielle. This new character, Danny, found himself in the midst of luxurious hotels, elegant cocktail gatherings, and elite social events, weaving through a tapestry of experiences that would surely captivate any audience. Jonathan, ever the pillar of support, urged me on, though a flicker of worry danced in his gaze. Exercise caution. Danielle? He had cautioned that these individuals operate under a different set of guidelines. One evening, following a particularly exhausting event, I found myself solitary in the lobby of the Grand Regency Hotel, a venue renowned for its luxury and subtlety. The lobby unfolded like a hill filled with inviting seating arrangements, secret corners, and the gentle whispers of the distinguished. In this place, surrounded by the elegance of velvet and marble, I encountered the profound heaviness of my solitude, the deep sense of isolation that came with living a life hidden from the world. The chandeliers above illuminated the room with a warm golden glow, yet the chill that had taken residence in my bones remained unshaken. As I settled into the soft embrace of the plush velvet couch, I felt myself sink in allowing the outside world to drift away into the background. I observed the flow of people around me, their laughter and chatter, weaving a tapestry of sound, a backdrop to a life I was simply witnessing. I had transformed into Danny, the socialite who reveled in the exquisite. But what was the price of this new life? As I explored this realm deeper, I sensed a growing distance from Danielle, the woman who cherished the serene mornings with Jonathan, and the uncomplicated pleasures of our shared existence. As I savored my drink, a man drew near, his suit impeccably tailored, his smile rehearsed and gleaming. "You seem like you could use a little companionship," he remarked, his voice flowing effortlessly like a gentle stream. I played along, a smile on my face, yet deep down I yearned for quiet moments to myself. He settled into a seat, and we shared a few friendly words, his gaze sweeping over me as though I were an intriguing enigma waiting to be unraveled. Once upon a time, there was a man named Marcus. His name floated through the air like a secret spoken in hushed tones among those who wielded influence. He was a figure of great importance, possessing the ability to shape destinies and alter the course of lives with a mere nod. We exchanged thoughts on art, the latest exhibitions, and the upcoming charity events. Yet beneath the surface, there was an unsettling tension that hinted at something darker lurking in the shadows. Marcus was delving deep, seeking to understand my value not merely as a figure in society, but as someone who could either stand beside him or pose a challenge. The dialogue transformed gently at first into matters of commerce, into the murmurs of agreements forged in secrecy, agreements that held the power to dismantle kingdoms or create them from the ground up. My heart raced, not from fear, but from the excitement of being on the brink of the truth I was searching for. In a moment that felt almost choreographed, Marcus leaned in, his voice lowering to a secretive whisper. "Tomorrow night, an exclusive gathering awaits. You may discover something intriguing within it." His words lingered thick with meaning. This was the moment I had been waiting for, the opportunity to glimpse what lay beyond the surface. But at what price? My imagination soared with the endless scenarios, the lurking threats, the hidden truths waiting to be uncovered. I consented to be present, my tone unwavering, even amidst the chaos inside me. Marcus grinned, a hunter, reveling in the ease of his conquest. As he departed, I sensed the burden of my choices enveloping me like a heavy shroud. Once again in solitude, I surveyed the lobby, perceiving it not merely as a realm of opulence, but as a backdrop for the intricate dramas played by the influential. The solitude I experienced was not merely due to my distance from Jonathan, but stemmed from the understanding that in this life trust was a rare treasure that only a select few could possess. The following day, as I got ready for the event, Marcus had invited me to a swirl of apprehension and excitement lingered in my mind. Jonathan's words lingered in my thoughts, a vivid reminder of what was at risk. These individuals navigate a unique set of guidelines. Adorned in my most exquisite attire, the silk of my gown seemed to share its own tales with every graceful step I took. The mirror revealed more than my appearance. It unveiled the journey I had experienced. Danny was set, but was Danielle truly ready for the revelations that awaited her? As I stepped into the venue, a private estate with gates that seemed to murmur of hidden tales, I sensed the weight of my purpose. The atmosphere was heavy with the fragrance of wealth authority and a subtle hint of peril. The gathering was a unique experience, one that stood apart from all others I had been to. In this place, the masks held a deeper significance. Individuals donned them actual masks that concealed their identities, their genuine motives. The air was thick with anticipation, buzzing with the excitement of what lay ahead, the temptation of the uncharted. I blended in my laughter, intertwining with theirs, my gaze searching for hints, for murmurs of reality. In a hidden nook, shielded from the curious gazes of the gathering, he appeared before me. Marcus engaged in dialogue with a figure adorned in a mask that was both intricate and disquieting. In hushed tones, they exchanged thoughts, their voices charged with a palpable intensity. I inched nearer, my heart racing, the excitement of uncovering something new urging me on. Yet what unfolded next in that hidden nook of the lobby would alter the course of events forever. The evening was drawing to a close, and the lobby had become quiet, illuminated only by the gentle light of chandeliers and the faint sounds of the city beyond. Just as I was preparing to depart, I caught sight of Murphy, my companion meandering away. As I trailed behind him, I stumbled upon a hidden corner, a cozy draped space crafted for intimacy. In that moment, consumed by the weight of my double existence, the solitude and maybe the effect of the numerous glasses of champagne, I took an action that was beyond belief. I found myself lost in a moment of confusion and emotional collapse with Murphy, quietly beside me, unaware of the chaos within. In that fleeting instant, chaos reigned, and I found myself caught in a whirlwind of choices that defied reason and eluded any attempt at justification. The realization of my actions washed over me, overwhelming and powerful like a crashing wave. I found myself entangled in a situation with Jonathan that was not just about betrayal, but in a manner that was utterly strange and unconventional. My heart raced within me, a whirlwind of guilt, confusion, and an oddly comforting sense of relief. I found myself on the soft, velvet couch, which now felt more like a snare, as my thoughts surged with the weight of my choices. As I gazed at Murphy, his tail wagging with innocent joy, he remained blissfully unaware of the chaos swirling around him, a silent participant in the unfolding drama. His purity only intensified the ache of my disillusionment. How did I drift so far from my true self, from the principles that once guided me? The stillness of the lobby enveloped me, while the gentle buzz of the city beyond stood in sharp relief to the turmoil churning inside. It was as if I was submerged in a sea of my own lies, the facade of my hidden existence unraveling to expose a truth I had lost sight of. I rose to my feet, my legs trembling, my mind swirling with a storm of ideas. I felt the urge to escape, to inhale the fresh air, to reflect. As I made my way back into the main lobby, the sound of my footsteps reverberated through the expansive, vacant area. The magnificence of the Grand Regency Hotel appeared to be merely a mask, a vacant exterior reflecting the void I experienced within. As I ventured into the night, the brisk air greeted me, a vivid nudge back to the world around me. I wandered without direction, my thoughts circling back to the events of the night, each footfall resonating with the weight of my remorse. The city lights transformed into vibrant streaks, my sight obscured by tears I hadn't noticed cascading down. There I was at the park, the very place where Jonathan and I shared countless moments during our strolls with Murphy. The once comforting side of the bench, where we would sit exchanging silent glances, now seemed to taunt the memories of our shared life. I took a seat, the chill of the wood pressing against me, and allowed the gravity of my choices to sink in. The moment struck me deeply. I had ventured beyond a boundary, not only in my relationship, but also within my own sense of right and wrong. The excitement of the chase, the charm of revealing hidden truths, had obscured my vision of the individual I was transforming into. As I reflected on Jonathan, I was reminded of his kind spirit and the steadfast encouragement he always offered. What would I say to him now? How could I gaze into his eyes without the weight of my treachery casting a shadow over every instant? In the stillness of the park, the only sound was the gentle whisper of leaves dancing in the breeze. With a mix of anticipation and anxiety, I retrieved my phone, my fingers quivering as I pressed the digits of his number. The sound echoed each chime, a vivid reminder of the peril I was embracing. As he spoke, his tone radiated warmth and care. "Danielle, is everything all right?" he inquired. In that moment, I paused, the expression struggling to escape my lips. "Hey, Jonathan, I really need to share something with you. Shall we find a place to share our thoughts, just the two of us?" His voice took on a gentle quality, feeling the weight of the moment. "Absolutely, where might you be?" I shared the location with him, my voice soft and barely audible. As I ended the call, I sensed that this was the start of a tale that would alter the course of everything. Sitting there waiting for him, I could sense the heaviness of my secret looming over me, eager to be shared. What I came to understand was that the essence lay beyond merely unveiling the powerful or their hidden truths. It was a journey of self-discovery, a moment of recognizing the shadows I had allowed to creep into my existence. Jonathan stepped into the scene, his outline framed by the soft glow of the park's fading lights. His face bore the weight of worry as he drew near. I stood there, my heart racing, fully aware that the next words I uttered could either mend or break the bond we shared. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jonathan. I started to notice my voice changing. I've embarked on a journey that defies simple explanation. He grasped my hands, his touch anchoring me in the moment. Whatever it may be, we will confront it side by side. He declared, his tone unwavering, his gaze probing mine for sincerity. As I inhaled deeply, the truth lingered just at the edge of my lips. Yet before I could utter a word, my phone vibrated with urgency. It was a message from Marcus, shrouded in mystery, yet filled with urgency. Tonight's gathering was merely the prologue. There are tales yet to unfold. Gather with me at the ancient warehouse near the docks when the clock strikes 12. The message arrived like a beacon, pulling me away from the truth I was on the verge of revealing. Here lay yet another fragment of the mystery, an opportunity to explore further into the realm I had entered. Yet one must ponder the price to be paid. Jonathan's eyes remained fixed on me, anticipating what I would say next. I gazed at him, caught in the struggle between the world I had created alongside him and the elusive dreams that beckoned me from the darkness. "I have something important to share, but first there's a task I need to complete." In an instant, the choice was made. His expression transformed, revealing a blend of bewilderment and pain. "Danielle, can you share what's happening?" "I regret to hear that, Jonathan. I have tales to share, but my time is short right now. It's a chapter in the unfolding narrative." I spoke, the words lingering like bitter remnants on my tongue. He nodded, his faith in me steadfast, but I could sense the glimmer of uncertainty in his gaze. "Watch your step," he murmured, his voice heavy with feeling. As I strolled away, the burden of my choices, my deceptions, and the looming clash with Marcus wrapped around me like heavy shackles. The night was still young, and the true surprise was just around the corner, one that would render this event insignificant by comparison. The days that unfolded were like a fog every instant, clouded by a mix of remorse, uncertainty, and a powerful desire to share the truth. Whenever my gaze fell upon Jonathan or Murphy, a tide of embarrassment surged within me, leaving me nearly speechless. My work, which used to be my refuge, now resembled a confinement, my concentration disrupted by the turmoil within. One evening, as Jonathan toiled away into the late hours, the stillness of our home wrapped around us like a heavy blanket. I found myself at our kitchen table, the familiar setting of countless shared meals, now transformed into a backdrop for my heartfelt revelation. With a piece of paper in hand, I felt a rush of excitement as I started to pen my thoughts. The words poured out, weaving a tapestry of emotion, reaching out for connection and empathy. I painted a vivid picture of the night at the hotel, capturing the profound isolation I experienced, the mysterious encounter with Murphy, and the deep loneliness that had pushed me to the brink. As I poured my heart onto the page, the tears blurred the ink, yet with every line an unexpected lightness emerged, as if each revelation was freeing a part of my spirit. I shared my journey of transformation through the investigation, illustrating how the boundaries of right and wrong became indistinct, and how I found myself adrift in the quest for truth. As I approached the conclusion of my letter, I hesitated, the pen suspended above the paper. Just as I was ready to close the envelope, the doorbell rang, its sound cutting through the stillness like a sharp blade. My heart raced with excitement. Who might be knocking at this late hour? I approached the door, each step heavy, as if my legs were weighed down by an unseen force. As I opened the door, there he was, Marcus. His presence was as disquieting as always, his gaze sweeping over me with that familiar intense scrutiny from the hotel lobby. "Danielle?" he said, his voice flowing like a river, yet carrying a hint of tension. "I have a tale to share with you. It's all about the assembly. You won't believe what I'm about to share with you." His sudden appearance caught me by surprise. Here stood the man who had unknowingly guided me to my deepest despair, now at my doorstep, drawing me back into the life I was desperately trying to leave behind. "Marcus, the hour is getting late." I found the words, though my voice trembled. "What is it that you seek?" "It's not about my desires, Danielle. It's about the tales that unfold. There are deeper layers to this tale waiting to be revealed." With a sense of urgency, he pressed on, moving closer, as if to cross the threshold. With the letter clutched tightly in my hand, I found myself pausing, the weight of the confession I was on the verge of sharing teetering precariously in the air. I was just on the verge of doing that. "No matter what it is, there's no rush." Marcus interrupted me, his voice carrying an undeniable authority that brooked no dissent. The weight of his words and the intensity in his gaze compelled me to rethink my stance. This was an opportunity to seek a form of redemption through my efforts to unravel the turmoil inside by delving further into the inquiry. Yet one must ponder the price to be paid. I glanced at the letter once more, then turned my gaze to Marcus. My heart was caught in a struggle between the urge to reveal and the allure of the narrative, the reality that lingered, eager to be discovered. "Very well," I replied, my voice just a soft murmur. "Come along on this journey." Marcus nodded, a subtle grin dancing on his lips, as though he had foreseen my agreement. As we ventured into the night, the crisp air wrapped around us, a sharp reminder of the warmth I had just left behind, where my unspoken truths lingered in the shadows. As we journeyed toward the docks, the vibrant city lights gradually dimmed, surrendering to the enveloping embrace of the night. Marcus drove in silence, his gaze fixed ahead, yet the air was thick with unvoiced thoughts, and the weight of unasked questions lingered between us. The warehouse stood before us, an ancient crumbling edifice that seemed to murmur tales of hidden mysteries and lingering darkness. As Marcus parked, we made our way forward, the gravel crunching beneath our feet, the silence of the night enveloping us. Within the warehouse, shadows danced in the low light, while the atmosphere was heavy with dust and a subtle hint of something long forgotten. Marcus guided me to a secluded corner where a small assembly had formed their features, hidden in the dim light. In a hushed tone, Marcus leaned closer and offered me a tiny gadget. Gather around and hear this. I hit play, and the recording broke the stillness, voices weaving tales of deals that could rattle the very core of our city. It was the crucial clue, the elusive fragment that could unveil the deceit lurking in the upper echelons. Yet as I absorbed the words, a heavy weight settled deeper in my chest. This journey was not solely for the privileged. It revolved around the decisions I embraced, the routes I navigated, and the individual I evolved into. The recording concluded, and Marcus turned to me, his face a canvas of mystery. And with that, he shared a tale that unraveled the truth. What tales will you weave with this? The burden of the choice loomed large. The truth I had been searching for revealed itself, yet it carried a personal price I had not foreseen. I found myself reflecting on Jonathan, on the words I had yet to share, and on the life we had crafted together, now teetering on the edge. I require a moment, I declared, my tone resolute, even as chaos swirled within me. I must take a moment to reflect. Marcus nodded fully, grasping the weight of the occasion. Embrace the moment, Danielle. But keep in mind, time is a precious resource we cannot afford to waste. As I strolled back to the car, the night enveloped me in its thick darkness, and the shadows danced with an eerie depth. There were tales waiting to be uncovered, yet lurking within me were shadows and hidden truths. The revelation I started was not solely about the inquiry. It was about myself, about confronting the individual I had transformed into while chasing a narrative. The journey home was quiet, with each of us wandering through our own reflections. As Marcus pulled away, I lingered on the doorstep of my home, the letter resting on the table within, patiently awaiting my return. The decision stood before me not merely as a matter of speaking out or remaining quiet, but as a crossroads between the existence I knew and the one I was experiencing. As I crossed the threshold, the door whispered shut, wrapping me once more in the familiar embrace of the world I had briefly left behind. The letter rested quietly, a reflection of my remorse, my uncertainty, my longing for absolution. Yet the stakes had risen beyond my own quest for redemption. A narrative awaited secrets to unveil, and maybe along the way, an opportunity to rediscover who I truly am. The evening had only just begun, and the true surprise was still ahead, one that would render this event insignificant by comparison. To everyone's surprise, the door swung open to reveal Jonathan arriving earlier than usual because his meeting had been unexpectedly called off. He discovered me clutching the letter, my expression betraying a deep sense of remorse. "What is that?" he inquired, his tone soft yet inquisitive. I passed him the letter, my heart racing with anticipation. As he read, his face transformed from a furrowed brow of confusion to wide eyes of disbelief, and finally settled into a deep, sorrowful gaze. "Danielle, how could you do this?" His voice was a soft murmur, yet it sliced through the stillness of our home with precision. The space seemed to shrink, the atmosphere thickening as we lingered, the reality suspended in the air around us. I observed Jonathan's gaze as it moved over the words I had carefully crafted on the page, each line revealing a piece of my most profound experience. His face, typically so inviting and bright, now appeared to shut down a tempest gathering behind his gaze. I'm at a loss for words. I stumbled over my words, the burden of my choices heavy upon my shoulders. Jonathan lifted his eyes from the letter, his stare cutting right through me. "In another world, Danielle, your journey unfolds in ways yet to be imagined. A journey I had yet to discover. What's the duration of this situation?" "It goes beyond that night, Jonathan," I said, my voice quivering. "It's a tapestry of experiences. The journey, the mysteries, the transformation I've undergone." With a slow shake of his head, He felt the letter crumple in his grasp. This goes beyond merely your tasks. This is a narrative of our journey, woven with trust and encompassing all that we are. The quiet hung heavily in the air, a palpable weight that enveloped us. The anguish in his gaze was palpable, the sense of treachery carved into each contour of his expression. I need some air, Jonathan finally uttered, his voice echoing with emptiness. With a deliberate turn, he made his way to the door, the letter resting silently on the table behind him, the edges now worn from his firm hold. I trailed behind him, my footsteps uncertain. Jonathan, I really think we should have a conversation about this. I have a tale to share. He lingered at the threshold, fingers resting on the handle, as if contemplating the tale that awaited him beyond. Could you elaborate? How do you share something like this? Danielle, how do you describe reaching a point of such disconnection that you find yourself acting in ways you never thought possible? The weight of his words struck like a sudden, unexpected force. I found myself wandering, Jonathan. In a realm filled with darkness and betrayal, I found myself submerged. I found myself at a loss, unsure of how to rise above it all. He pivoted to meet my gaze, his eyes probing into mine. And what about our tale? What about the journey we've shared together? Did that hold no significance for you? It held immense significance, I murmured with tears cascading down my cheeks. That's why I'm sharing this with you now. The weight of this secret is becoming unbearable, and I can no longer carry on in this way. Jonathan let out a heavy sigh filled with weariness. I require some time, Danielle. Moments to reflect, to grasp the essence. This is not a matter we can simply discuss and move on from. I understand. I murmured, my voice barely a whisper. Take all the time you require, but I urge you don't close the door on me entirely. He nodded, a gentle warmth spreading across his face. I appreciate your understanding, but solitude is what I seek at this moment. As he departed, the door whispered shut, and I was enveloped by the profound embrace of my loneliness. The dwelling, once a refuge, now resonated with the void of my revelation. I stepped back into the kitchen, where the letter rested, its ink blurred by the traces of my sorrow. As I settled in, I revisited my own words, each serving as a reflection of the journey I had embarked upon, the decisions I had embraced. The journey had captivated me, drawing me into a labyrinth of ethical dilemmas and deep-seated treachery. The night unfolded, each tick of the clock echoing the moments, fading the life I had gambled, the love that hung in the balance. The peak of our tale was more than merely my revelation. It was a moment that defined Jonathan's next steps, a pivotal choice between forgiveness and understanding, leaving us to wonder if this marked the conclusion of our journey together. As I lingered, the quiet was pierced solely by the faint echoes of the city, a place brimming with mysteries, much like the one I had been pursuing. But now the most significant secret had been revealed, and with it the fate of my marriage, teetered on the edge, anticipating Jonathan's next decision. Jonathan came back after what seemed like a lifetime. Silence enveloped us as he settled next to me, his fingers gently seeking mine. His touch enveloped me in a blend of solace and ache, a vivid juxtaposition to the chilling fear that had taken root in my heart. I cherish you, Danielle, yet this is a journey we must navigate side by side, he said, his voice unwavering but laced with sorrow. We lingered in that moment, the air heavy with the weight of untold tales. Then he started to share, his voice soft, nearly a murmur, as if he feared shattering the delicate harmony we were attempting to restore. It seemed like I was overlooked, Danielle. In the midst of our shared life, I often felt a profound sense of solitude, even with you by my side. I found it challenging to convey my feelings, to share that I longed for something deeper between us. His confession enveloped me, cascading over the guilt I carried, bringing with it a fresh perspective. Here stood Jonathan, the steadfast figure in my life, revealing his own moments of fragility. What unfolded was a genuine exchange, unexpected, yet essential for both of us. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I whispered, my voice trembling with emotion. Engrossed in my endeavors, immersed in the hidden truths and shadows I was revealing, I overlooked the essence of what truly mattered. I've lost what we had. He grasped my hand tightly, his gaze locking onto mine with a profound intensity that stirred something deep within my heart. It seems you were pursuing a significant quest, one that held the potential to transform lives. But at what price, Danielle? At the expense of our union of your true self. We shared our thoughts for hours, exploring the intricacies of our bond, the challenges I had encountered, and the solitude he had experienced. It was a dialogue woven with trust, a journey of reconstruction, and a deep exploration of the cracks in our shared existence. Ultimately, we chose to pursue guidance, aiming to mend what had been broken. Our journey together was far from finished. A fresh chapter was unfolding, filled with the promise of healing and deeper understanding. We both recognized that the path before us would be challenging, yet we were resolute in our decision to traverse it side by side. Murphy stood by our side, a steadfast friend, unaware of the whirlwind he had unknowingly joined. He rested at our feet, his tail occasionally thumping against the floor, embodying the purity we were eager to rediscover in our lives. The days that came after our choice were brimming with a hopeful anticipation. We embarked on our first counseling session, sharing our deepest fears, our brightest hopes, and the unwavering commitment we hold for one another. The therapist, a compassionate woman with eyes that appeared to penetrate the very essence of our struggles, led us softly yet resolutely through the journey. Jonathan and I began to weave a tapestry of connection, revealing not only the ordinary threads of our daily lives, but also the vibrant colors of our emotions, uncertainties, and aspirations. It felt akin to discovering a new way to communicate, where each expression held the significance of our collective past and the hope of what lies ahead for us. One evening, as we nestled in the tranquility of our living room, the gentle glow creating playful shadows that waltzed across the walls, Jonathan turned to me. I've been pondering, Danielle. Perhaps it's the moment for you to... This file exceeds a duration of 30 minutes.